Good morning, second graders. Today we will be talking about measuring with centimeters. Let's get started.
How can you measure to the nearest centimeter? Let's find out. 1 centimeter is smaller than 1 inch. Your fingertip, a button, and a blueberry are each about 1 centimeter long. To measure to the nearest centimeter, look for the halfway mark. If the object is longer than the halfway mark, use the greater number. Between which two numbers on the ruler does the connecting cube end?
Okay, we talked about this when we were measuring with inches. If it is past the halfway mark, then we say it is closer to the next inch or centimeter in this case. So we would say that this cube is about 2 centimeters because here's our halfway mark and our cube ends closer to the 2.
Between 1 and 2 centimeters. About how long is the cube?
Select your answer.
The cube is about 2 centimeters long. It is longer than the halfway mark between 1 and 2 centimeters. If the object is shorter than the halfway mark, use the smaller number. Between which two numbers on the ruler does the paperclip end?
Okay, in this case, our paper clip ends between the 3 and the 4, but it is much closer to the 3 and it is not past the halfway mark, so we would say it is about 3 centimeters.
Between the 3 and 4 centimeter marks. Is the clip longer or shorter than the halfway mark?
Select your answer.
Okay, again, here is our halfway mark. If we let this purple arrow extend up, it would come about this far, and our paper clip is shorter than that.
It is shorter, so this paper clip is about 3 centimeters long.
Now you know how to measure it to the nearest centimeter.
All right, let's look at the Another Look video, and then we will jump into our math book.
When measuring objects, you can use a little unit called a centimeter.
And before we do that, let's get out our trusty ruler to help us see what we're doing.
Ta-da! So here it is, and the first thing we gotta do is start at 0, not at the beginning of the ruler. So look for the halfway mark between centimeters on the ruler.
That's basically where the mark is, right between the two whole numbers on the ruler.
Indeed. And if the object is longer than the halfway mark, use the higher whole number. This pen is about 6 centimeters long.
And if the object is shorter than the halfway mark, then we have to use the lower number.
Great teamwork!
This stapler is about 8 centimeters long.
Oh, and don't forget this. You always want to use a ruler to get the best measurement you can, even though the object may not stop exactly at the whole number.
Great advice! Now I feel like I can measure just about anything.
All right, second grade, please meet me in your math book on page 718. 718. If you need to pause your video so you can find this page, go ahead and do that. 718. We're going to quick look at our green box of information. It tells us that 1 centimeter, often abbreviated or made shorter by just saying cm, is smaller than 1 inch. So if we look at this piece of a ruler, here's the 1 inch mark where my finger is. Here's the 1 centimeter mark, so about the same size as one of our little green ones cubes. Also, a lot of times they tell you that it's about the same width as your pinky finger. That's true for Mrs. Lind. I don't know if it's true for you. To measure to the nearest centimeter, look for the halfway mark. So just like we did when we were measuring to the nearest inch, if it is past the halfway mark between 2 inches, we say it's closer to the larger inch. Same thing here, if it is past the halfway mark, here's our halfway mark. If we extend this arrow all the way up, our cube goes past the halfway mark, and we say it's about 2 centimeters long. If the object is shorter than the halfway mark, so our halfway mark would be here, our paper clip is shorter, so we would say it's about 3 centimeters long, okay? Because our paper clip ends between the 3 and the 4, but it is not quite as far as the halfway mark, so we say it is closer to the smaller centimeter. When you are measuring today, I will put the stapler. I have a couple different ones to choose from, so just use whichever one is available when you're measuring. I'll put them on the back table. Your first job is to estimate about how long the stapler is. Make your best guess. And then you use your ruler and measure. Remember, our video reminded us that we start at the beginning, the 0 mark, not at the end of our ruler. I'm going to zoom in quick so you can see. I'm starting right at the end of at the first mark, not at the end of the ruler, because sometimes those are 2 different spots. And I'm going to say that this one in particular is about 13 centimeters. So your answer might be a little different than the number here. And I forgot to make an estimate, so make sure you remember that part, okay? You can choose a book. If you want to use your math book, if you want to use a book out of your book box, please don't forget to make your guess first and then measure. For this one, number 3, it says the width of a shoelace. The width is the wide part, obviously not the length. We should not be untying our shoes to measure. Make a guess. I would guess that most of our shoelaces are about 1 centimeter wide. If you're not wearing shoes with shoelaces, politely ask someone next to you if you can measure their shoelace. Do not just go and put your little face by their feet, because I don't want you to get kicked. Then we have the length of a pencil. You can use your own pencil. The width of a chair, that's how wide your seat is. And then some scissors, you know where the scissors are. Down here for 7 and 8, I would like you to do them. Josh estimated that the length of his reading book is about 6 centimeters. Explain why these are reasonable or not. So if he's saying that his book is about 6 centimeters wide, that's this much. Does that make sense or no? So think about maybe if it's a book for a mouse. Think about that. And then it says Shay estimated that the height of her desk, the height is how tall something is, so from the floor to the part where you put your paper, is about 10 centimeters. This is 10 centimeters. Do you think that that's true? So if you agree, you could say yes, that's a reasonable estimate. And if you don't agree, you can say no, that's too small. Okay? Once you finish this, jump over to your quick check. I'll meet you there. Okay, number 1. Number 1 says, Luke measures the length of his crayon to the nearest centimeter. What is the length to the nearest centimeter? Here he is starting at 0, and his crayon ends here. This one is lemon squeezy. Pay attention. Every single person can get number 1 right. Estimate the height of a glue bottle in centimeters. I want you to look at your ruler while you're doing this and think about, could it be about 3 centimeters? Look at the size of that. Could it be about 4 centimeters? Look at the size of that. Look at your ruler and find 12 centimeters. Could that be reasonable for the height of a bottle of glue? And then finally 25 centimeters. Is that a reasonable guess? Reasonable means it makes sense, that it could happen. So use your ruler to help you, because this one I think you can definitely answer successfully. What is the length of the pencil to the nearest centimeter? Enter your answer in the box. Where does our pencil tip end? Enter your answer in the box. Oops, sorry. Number 4 says Cole measures the length of a large paperclip to the nearest centimeter. What is the length of the paperclip to the nearest centimeter? Okay, here's our halfway mark. Which centimeter is the end of our paperclip closest to? Use your ruler carefully. You can do it. And finally, number 5, about how long is the fish in this picture? Look at where the line starts, look at where the line ends, and find the answer that makes the most sense. I feel very confident that every single person can get a 5 out of 5 today. Show me what you know. Take your time and do your best.